If you're like me and love the ease of grabbing a freshly prepared, ready-to-eat meal straight from the fridge, look no further than Factor. Factor is America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit that offers flavorful and nutritious meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, you'll eat well, and stay on track, reaching your goals this summer. Just 2 minutes in the microwave is all it takes to enjoy Factor's fresh, never frozen, and incredibly tasty meals. Are you looking for calorie-conscious options? Their dietitian-approved Calorie Smart meals have around or less than 550 calories per serving. Head to factormeals.com/Dominique50 and use code Dominique50 to get 50% off your first box. That's code Dominique50 at factormeals.com/Dominique50 to get 50% off your first box. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Over 50 and Flourishing. Hope you've had an awesome weekend. It's Monday. This podcast airs wherever you listen to podcasts and, of course, on YouTube as well, so you can watch it there. But I'm so excited about today's episode because you're getting to meet somebody who is incredibly special to me. She's my best friend. She's like the sister I never had. It's Holley Dean. We've only known each other for 8 months, but it's as if we've known each other a lifetime. People call us Thelma and Louise already. So what does that tell you? But I wanted to bring her on because we do have similar stories and paths in terms of having to reinvent yourself in midlife. We both went through divorce at the same time. The importance of friendship, the importance of women coming together and really, really just stripping down the barriers and being vulnerable. So we're going to talk about all of these things today. Oh my goodness. Holley Dean, my dear friend, I'm so glad you're here today. This means a lot.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. Also quite nervous when I have to sit with you in a camera.
Girl,
but I love you.
You have mastered sitting with me in a camera.
Yes, I'm getting
accustomed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And accustomed's a really good.
Thought.
Accustomed's a good word, and just living life with you is so different because I see what life is like for you, and it's not easy. Yeah. You can't just simply live life. You have to have everybody else involved in your life.
That's a good point. I never really thought of it that way. People always use the expression of being on. You have to be on all the time. But that was an interesting way to phrase it. And you're right.
I mean, you're on all the time anyway, but I don't want that to come off like you're fake. You're on all the time because that's who your personality is. Yeah. But we can't go to dinner without being stopped 3 times on the way to the table.
Right.
And we're just going to go sit and have dinner. That's why the suburbs are fun, aren't they?
That's why you lived out there for so long.
True.
Anonymity.
True. And then you move into reality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk to you about reality. You're my best friend. You're the sister I never had. You are somebody who has recently come into my life. And it's funny because when people see us together, they think, oh, they've known each other forever. And it does feel that way.
Yes.
And I do feel like you're a part of me.
Well, it's simple. It's easy.
It flows.
Just when we were with a bunch of other people, they're like, how long have you known each other? And I think we both came up with like 7-8 months.
Yeah.
And people said, oh, we thought it was years.
I know.
And when a relationship clicks, it clicks.
Yeah, it does. And we met through my mother.
Yeah.
So, and that aired on the podcast we're recording today, which is the day after Mother's Day. And my mom and I talked about it in the podcast, the fact that I met my new best friend through her. She met her new best friend through me. So we've both been conduits for each other in meeting people. And it's been such a gift how that happened. It was so random.
And such a journey to go on when you have an older mom like you do. And I lost my parents when I was young, my dad when I was in high school and my mom in 1996. So to see my friends have to take care of their parents, it's an undertaking, and definitely feel blessed to be able to just take that journey with you.
Yeah, I appreciate you because we're all close. We're all, walking distance.
Right.
You're in the building next door to her.
Yes.
But I know if I can't get over there, I can always call you. And in a New York minute, you're there to check, to help, to see. And it's a godsend for me.
Absolutely. And there are many others over there that watch out after her because she's off she's such a vibrant spirit, and everybody knows her. And if they don't know her as Audrey, they know her as Dominique's
mother.
Which is exactly how I met her. I know. The lady in the green pants.
Yes. Yeah. She said, I'm Dominique's mother.
She said, do you know who I am? Anyway, no one should be surprised.
Yes, no, I know. But anyway, grateful for that connection. Grateful for this. Yes. I've had you on, different platforms, social media, photos, the crazy video on the heels of our midlife wellness journey, which I might even question what happened to our heads. But I think we were so entrenched in what we got from that it led to the very funny story, which we'll share later. But I really want people to get to know you first, and get to know and hear us talk about something that a lot of women in midlife go through. Mm-hmm. And that is huge change. We were both going through divorces at the same time. And that's not unusual. A lot of these high rises are nicknamed like Divorcee Central because it's people in transition going through these huge life changes. So we immediately had a common bond, but kind of back it up. You talked about your family a little bit and the loss of your parents early on. You're also adopted.
Yes.
And there's an interesting component to that story too.
Yes. Yeah. Sure. I was adopted as a baby into a family with 3 brothers. Great to be the baby, the spoiled brat, as they would call me. Grew up in Memorial with you. We spent a lot of our time down in Clear Lake because my family owned a marina. So I was exposed to water skiing really young. I loved the water. Got married in 1995 and had 2 girls. And we lived in Amarillo, and then we moved to Friendswood, where we ended up raising Abby and Libby. And I remained there for about 18 years until this year, when I needed to make a life change. It was just time, and I needed to absorb all that was going to be, and it's been one heck of a year. This year has brought divorce, meeting my birth mom, my birth father, trying a huge career challenge, meeting a bunch of new friends, just learning who I am as myself, by myself. And that is no small task at all. No. It is a daily journey. Some days are good. Some days are just unbearable. But I was told, Dominique, that in order to heal, I will need 1 month for every year I was married. So I was together almost, 28, 29 years total. So that's when grace comes in. And I just have to learn how to give that to myself. I'm not so great at it. But that's what I've been doing this year. And I really feel like we both are believers. We talk about our faith all the time. I really feel like at every valley that I didn't think I could breathe through, he has completely brought me through it and grown me. And I am a different person than I was this past year. But I won't lie. And it's rough. It's tough. Would not wish this on my worst enemy.
No, it is. It's excruciating. I kind of liken it to being thrown in the spin cycle of the dryer. That's what it feels like. You are just tumbling and tumbling and trying to get your feet underneath you.
Absolutely.
And it's exhausting. And, I think there are a lot of women who reach this point in life, and a lot of things can shine the spotlight on the marriage. It could be children leaving the house. It could be, a number of things where suddenly the focus is back on the couple, or it can just be you've reached a point of enough. I have tolerated more than I should, more than I can handle. I feel like I've done everything I can. I feel like I've expressed everything I can, and I can no longer do. And I think that's what happened in your case.
I think that's a good way to say it. Yeah. I obviously want to be incredibly respectful. Sure. It takes 2 people to, just succeed and not succeed at times. And for me, I wasn't succeeding anymore. Yeah. And I needed to succeed. I was 53 years old, and life needed to be bright. Yeah. I would say my personality is very vibrant.
No way.
People make fun of it often. But yes, it it unfortunately needed to happen.
Yeah.
And I hate that. There were days that I prayed that I was wrong. Please change this. Please change this. Please make it different. But I'm here and I'm growing and I'm learning, and I'm happy for that. I am. I'm really happy for that.
How did you feel you were not succeeding? That was an interesting choice of word that you used. I felt like I wasn't succeeding. Was it just that the marriage wasn't where you wanted it to be, and you felt like you gave it your all, and if I'm going to succeed, I'm going to have to do this by myself?
I do feel like I gave it my all. There are days when I think, oh, I could have done more, because we could always
You
do
always
more.
second guess, right?
Yeah, I am the biggest second guesser. But for me, it was, I needed to be healthier. I needed to be happier. And in many ways, I had lost myself.
Yep.
And that wasn't fair to myself or to my spouse. So I just needed to find myself again. And in order to succeed for quite a while, I had to lose myself. And I did. And so it's a journey back to finding who I am. And with lots and lots of reading and searching. But I want to, I know who I am. But every day we're all still learning. But I just couldn't be successful in that anymore. And frankly, I don't think either one of us were.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for him, but neither one of us were.
Sure. Was it hard? You did the most admirable job there is. You raised two beautiful daughters.
I did.
That's hard work. Leaving a marriage where you were essentially supported, right? Now you're leaving that, and you know that it's not only am I having to redefine who I am, but now I've got to figure out what am I going to do.
Sure.
How did you handle that? Because that's daunting.
Well, it was scary. I did have a friend call me. I'll go ahead and address like this career that I followed. I had a friend who works for Southwest Airlines. She contacted me and she's like, this is perfect for you. This is perfect for you, which I didn't disagree at the time. I would say the only thing that wasn't perfect was the timing. That hit me at about 4 or 5 months past leaving, our home that I had to empty out and everything like that. So I had been here in Houston for 5 months. And so I decided that and I went and applied and got the invitation to become a Southwest flight attendant, which is quite a journey.
Yes, I remember you
move into
telling
a
me about
hotel
it.
for a month.
Tell them your
You've got to
hours.
learn all these PAs. My hours were, you show up at 2 in the afternoon and we got home at 1 a.m.
Wow.
And then you study and you do it all over again for a month. So I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about other people. I was thrown in with people that I've never spent time with before. I made some amazing friends that I'm still friends with till today. So you have to pass all these requirements. And my last requirement was to evacuate a plane that was going down. Didn't think it would be that tough, but it was tough for me because in March 2020, my brother died in a plane crash. So sitting through all that, it just, I think I just had not a panic attack, but I just couldn't finish it. And I switched my hands. And so they have rules and they have to let you go. It was a very devastating day. Looking back on it, I thought, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to live through this? I'm so devastated. And it's interesting that we get to look back and go, okay, I'm okay. But I do think it happened for a reason. I'm very grateful for it. I don't believe that that's the path for me because I feel like God has closed the door again on it. So when I'm about to embark on another journey,
Yes, you are.
which is I have some great friends that would like to walk me through getting my insurance license. And I pray all the time for God's will. And I don't know, I'm going to go explore it and see if that's for me. See if I can help older people understand insurance. I hope I can.
You know what? If anybody can, I know you can.
Thank you.
We're going to take a really quick break, but my best friend, Holley Dean, is with me on Over 50 and Flourishing, and we're talking about life in midlife and making some big-time life changes and transitions. We'll be right back. If you're like me and love the ease of grabbing a freshly prepared, ready-to-eat meal straight from the fridge, look no further than Factor. Factor is America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit that offers flavorful and nutritious meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, you'll eat well, and stay on track, reaching your goals this summer. Just 2 minutes in the microwave is all it takes to enjoy Factor's fresh, never frozen, and incredibly tasty meals. Are you looking for calorie-conscious options? Their dietitian-approved Calorie Smart meals have around or less than 550 calories per serving. We ladies 50 plus really need to focus on protein intake for maintaining and growing muscle mass, so you can try their Protein Plus meals with 30 grams of protein or more per serving. There are also keto, vegan, and veggie options. Head to factormeals.com/Dominique50 and use code Dominique50 to get 50% off your first box. That's code Dominique50 at factormeals.com/Dominique50 to get 50% off your first box. Support for today's episode comes from Honey Love. Let me tell you, I have worn shapewear most of my adult life. As a former news anchor, it's the first thing you put on before the sheath dress. And not all shapewear is created equal. Some pinch, bind, roll, and are flat out uncomfortable. Not so with Honey Love. Honey Love has revolutionized compression technology, so you no longer have to feel like you're suffocating while wearing effective shapewear. You'll immediately feel and see the difference. I personally love the Super Power Short. It sculpts your midsection without squeezing your natural curves. It works with your body, not against it. And if you've got a summer wedding coming up, Honey Love is rated the go-to shapewear for under the dress. Now, this is exciting. We've got an exclusive offer for my listeners. Get 20% off your entire order with our exclusive link, honeylove.com/over50. Support our show and check them out at honeylove.com/over50. You'll be glad you treated yourself to the best shapewear on the market. And who doesn't love a sale? Don't forget your 20% off at honeylove.com/over50. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off. honeylove.com/over50.
Cheers.
Have you had a sip? We need a toast.
I know. I did have a sip because you know me.
I know you.
I'm going to drink two to your one.
Well, you enjoy. I've got to think too much, but I took a sip during the break.
Well, I need to enjoy because we're about to be cut off.
Well, we are about to be seriously cut off. So before I ask you about your new career transition that you're about ready to undertake, we're also about ready to undertake something massive. We must have agreed to this in a yoga-induced haze, I think, because it sounded so awesome at the time. But wow. So Holly and I are starting a 2-week gut detox program. And this is what's so cool about all of this is just the 6 degrees of separation. So Dr. Nishat Lateeb was one of the team leaders along with me and Dr. Susan Hardwick Smith, who spearheaded this event. So Nishat was there and she talked about gut health and she has this detox program. And of course, everybody was really interested, all the women. And so a bunch of us said, yeah, we'll do it. But the problem is it's happening at the beginning of summer and a lot of people have travel plans.
Yeah.
So it's normally a 4-week detox and they have now condensed it down to 2. Thank you. So
Because I said, I'm not doing 4 weeks.
4 is a big commitment.
It was just too daunting for me.
It's a lot.
So
it's a lot. And
yeah.
we joke about the alcohol because it's no alcohol, no caffeine, no dairy, no sugar, no bread, no flour, no gluten, no soy, no corn, no sweet.
You forgot the most important part.
What?
No happiness.
Shoot. We're going to fight
And I mean that with my whole gut.
It's going to be so pure and clean in 2 weeks, you won't even recognize it.
I better lose 40 pounds.
It's not a weight loss.
And if I don't, it's not.
No.
Then why are we doing it?
Well, but
I know.
I think look, it's not designed to be a weight loss plan, but when you clean that stuff out, your body automatically does lose weight.
I'm 5 pounds for sure because that's the alcohol weight.
Yeah.
Everybody loses 5 pounds if they stop drinking.
Right.
So I'm in it for 5 pounds.
Well, there you go.
Past that, it's bonus.
You're in it to win it.
Absolutely.
You're going to kill it.
Well,
yeah. I'm gonna vlog these 2 weeks, so we'll
I'll make sure to write some things for you to share with the listeners.
I'm going to show up with a camera and you're going to tell me. You're not going to write stuff. You're going to tell me that you're pissed and you're angry and you want to claw my eyes out. You're going to tell me. We're going to be real.
Okay.
That's supposed to happen after day 4. And then after that, it's smooth sailing from
They
what I hear.
that. So we'll see.
We'll see. But we'll check back in with you guys in 2 weeks. It'll be a YouTube video, by the way. So you mentioned before the break that you tried to be a Southwest Airlines flight attendant and it didn't work for the reasons that you mentioned. And I do believe that there was divine intervention in that, the way it all played out for you.
Absolutely.
I do.
Yeah.
And here's another 6 degree of separation. So Peter Remington, who was my very first guest on this podcast, is your dear friend and the one who's guiding you through this insurance business.
Yeah.
So explain how all that came to be.
Well, first I want to say like how much he's guided me in general.
Yeah, in life.
I was introduced to him by another one of our mutual friends, and he has empowered me to learn who I am, and he's a believer, and so of course that's so great, and we have great dialogues, and we met for quite a while, the first 6 months, and there were days when you just needed to hear a voice of reason. He was my voice of reason, and his line that I love, and also bought him a shirt recently because we saw it at the retreat.
Saw it at Mirabelle.
Remember your why. So when you're in these life transitions, you're spinning in that cycle and you don't know your why. And that simple word is a good direction. So anyway, he called me and said, I really think you should do this. And I was like, honestly, I wasn't that interested. I thought it's not creative enough. I don't know. But then I started giving it some more thought. And then I met his sweet wife, Karen, and she spoke to me more too, and just kind of talked about her journey. And then after I spoke to her, I thought, kind of started putting the puzzle pieces in my mind together. Okay, well, this would be beneficial for myself and for others. And that always makes me happy. If I can, like my favorite days are doing Meals on Wheels or just giving to others. So we talked more through it. And of course, I really was not that interested in the studying part. It makes me go back to when I got my real estate license. Barely passed that one. But anyway, it's a
hard test.
That was a hard test. I wouldn't want to go back and do it. But so we're going to start that actually today. We're Monday. So I'm starting my first class with them is tomorrow.
Along with the detox?
Yes, it's going to be one interesting.
Girl,
listen,
you are ballsy.
Dominique, I don't do anything easy.
No, you don't.
I was trying to like go on a weight loss when I was studying for Southwest. My brain's like, it's not working.
It's not time.
So that starts tomorrow too.
Wow.
But I'm excited. I just think that we haven't talked much about the retreat, but there's so much, there were so many pieces to the retreat, and it's kind of like you all start putting it together to move yourself in the right path.
Yes.
I feel like I've been moving myself on the right path, but sometimes there's been these forks, and it's like, okay, this fork's time. It's this time for this fork. And so, just jump off the cliff, right?
That's what you have to do.
Yes.
You've got to feel that sinking feeling, but you know what? Sometimes you stick that landing.
Yeah.
And you don't know until you jump.
You don't know. And that's why, I want to try this insurance and see if it's for me. And, and see if it's for me. And what I've learned is it's okay if it's not.
Exactly. You don't know until you go.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the other thing we were talking about. So Holly makes great charcuterie boards. In fact, she's got a little side hustle, surprised, called For the Love of Gouda. And she does. I mean, you do beautiful charcuterie boards.
Thank
and
you.
We were even brainstorming on how when you do presentations for people for insurance, you can show up with a little charcuterie board. And that's your fairy dust. That's your secret sauce that makes you special and different and still creative.
And that's actually the two things that I put together that I thought, wow, I'm going to be able to use the gifts that God gave me, my talents of flowers and food and stuff like that I love, and also bring it to, because I have to go supposedly and make presentations, and that's where you get people to sign up in groups, and so hopefully it'll be a win-win for both. Yeah, because I do love that. Wouldn't want to do it all the time. It's very labor intensive.
Right.
But I love it.
I know you do. I know. I'm sure my mother's told you that she sold insurance back in Florida.
Yeah, she told me she hated it. So, and there's that.
Again, just,
grain of salt.
Grain of salt. Grain of salt. At what point do you figure out, how do you get yourself out of those moments where it's like, what am I doing? Those dark moments. And we all have them. We've had them. We've talked about them, where you wake up and you just think, God, man, this sucks. This is a tough day. I don't like it. I don't like where I am. I don't like how I feel. What's your way to press through? And I don't even like to use the phrase get through a day, but what's your way to make a day great?
Okay. A couple of things. In your podcast with Peter, he spoke about the index card. That is a very, very powerful tool.
Yep.
And what's powerful about it is if you're diligent with it, you have them. So they're tangible and you can go back. So between the cards and my journaling, and I actually brought my journal, one of my journals with me because I thought, what if I want to write something down? Journaling, just purging everything that you feel. And then if you have it on paper, you can literally go back and see the growth, see the transformation, see the joy, see the heartache, see the breaks. So purging, and then the cards. And then for me, so many women are able to, I don't know, they just release their pain differently. I do love when Peter said, because I told him I can't cry. I don't know why. I'm still
really
unable to cry.
That's
I don't know why.
Right.
I will stop myself when I start to cry. I don't know why.
Are you afraid that once it starts, it just won't stop? That kind of uncontrollable cry?
I don't know if it was a coping mechanism for quite a while.
Maybe.
But I think crying is really therapeutic, and I will let myself a little bit. But so when I told him this, he gave me the tool of get a pillow and scream.
That's true.
And so I've done that a couple of times, and that's pretty powerful. But I think what women need to know is you have to just get it out.
Yes.
Whether it's you scream, whether it's you, like I say, I'm a believer, whether you scream at God and you say, I don't understand. Why did you put me here? Just purging and just taking it one day at a time and exercise. Exercise has been key for me to... I love yoga.
I know we go.
I know. And then, just weightlifting has been powerful too. We haven't even spoken about all my health issues, but just having a routine each day
is
so many women have a routine because they've got to go to work, right? But let's say you're like me and you were a stay-home mom and you're like, it's
Every
Monday.
day's a free-for-all.
And you can't drink all day because that's not going to work out. So you have to get a routine. Yeah. And even if it's 2 or 3 things in your day, make sure you do them. Make sure you do them. And make sure they're healthy and make sure that they're pushing you in the way that you need to go to become more healthy.
Yeah. That was one thing that I loved, a big takeaway from the retreat that we went to. And I tried to post on my social media platforms little takeaways because I just wanted to include as many people as I could about the experience that we were having and what were some of the discussions that were taking place and what we were getting. And that was a big part of it, was just setting intentions to start the day.
Yeah.
Having calm and quiet to start the day. Yeah. Having a plan. Having a belief system about being worthy, right? And achieving and attaining goals. Not to even mention health, menopause, all of that.
All that we were talking about.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was huge. And you had some very valid questions surrounding that, because of those health issues that you mentioned. You've been through the ringer.
So many women don't understand menopause. So many women don't understand hormones, and neither do the doctors.
Yeah.
And so I was able to communicate with Susan because in 2013 I had a double mastectomy, and unfortunately it was not done correctly.
Now tell everybody why you had it done.
Okay, so I was high risk, and I had mammograms from a very young age, and I had very dense breast, and I also had many cysts in each one. And so I had them drained. I had these mammograms, and it was just a routine of I don't want to use hell because that's really
No, it's a
big,
nightmare because I
but
can
it's a nightmare.
commiserate.
You know, you deal with fear, you deal with pain, you deal with just so much. And so my gynecologist at the time said, I believe you're going to need to do this year or next year. Pick. So I was like, well, who wants to think about this for a full year? So I spent quite a while preparing, trying to figure out if I should do it or not. And so I decided to bite the bullet and do it. And so when I did that, I was given very large implants. And once your body has a capsular contracture, which is what your body does when it's rejecting a foreign object in your body.
Isn't it tissue growing tightly against the implant, or what happens?
Becomes very tight.
Yeah.
And it happens quickly. So like you can go to sleep on a Tuesday, and by Thursday your body is completely changed and is rejecting the implant. So it becomes, I used to call it brick boob, because you would squeeze me or you'd hug me, and you know me, when I hug you, I'm gonna feel it. You're gonna get my full embrace. That's just the way I hug. And so I called it, brick boob, because that's how it feels, and it's very painful.
Yeah.
And it gets more painful as time goes on because your body gets tighter and tighter and tighter. So that happened 4 times, and then
implants being changed out 4 times
on top of expanders and everything else that goes with that. So I had been mentoring a girl, and she said, would you please go with me to a doctor's appointment? And I really was hesitant because the doctor she wanted me to go to was the one I really wanted to use from the very beginning, but she didn't accept my insurance. Yeah. So I ended up going with her, and lo and behold, 2 weeks later, I had my 4th capsular contracture. And so then I went back and had an appointment with her, and she ended up doing a deep flap surgery on me, which is one of the most wicked surgeries ever. But I never have to deal with implants anymore. Right. And so with that being said, because I don't have any breast tissue, I am able to have estrogen. I learned I never have to do mammograms or anything. So a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah.
And what was funny is my plastic surgeon ended up at that retreat.
I know. I couldn't
she
believe
was
it.
In our video, by the way.
I know. No, she was. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But you didn't know until you saw the guest list of who was coming?
No.
Is that, or you just saw when she was
Nobody
there?
knew who was going.
Oh, we did. Because the
Yes,
host
you did
knew.
because you're a host.
Yeah.
But the people going
had no idea.
You were not privy to that information until you arrived.
So you just saw her on property and said, oh, no way.
I saw the list right before we were going to the first meet and greet.
Okay.
So right then, and I text my girls, I'm like, you'll never believe who's at this retreat. Yeah. And we were getting name tags, and I saw her starting to walk up, and I kind of turned my side and just said something, and she just looked at me like, wait, I know that voice. And so we were both, I told myself I wasn't going to cry.
Yeah.
Because but it was just such a blessing.
Oh, it was serendipitous.
It was, that was just super, super special for me.
Cool.
Yeah. To be at that retreat, be talking about wellness and empowering. And, she used to get frustrated with me because I said, I don't like to look in the mirror. And she said, one day you will look in the mirror again. And that's true. It's really hard to go through what I went through because your whole body changes.
Yeah.
But value is in the scars, is what I've been told.
Yes.
And my scars are valuable. So I remind myself of that often.
Good.
When I get frustrated.
And you should.
Thank you.
You should.
Yeah.
Because you are valuable and your body is beautiful.
Yeah.
And you're perfectly and wonderfully made.
Yes.
And thank God
we
you're
are
healthy, which is the most important thing.
Yes.
So I'm sure that brings peace.
And I know so many people are going to have questions about what I just said because it is kind of confusing.
Right. Well, just
always open to help anybody that is going through that.
That's great.
To talk to them about deep flap or what all that means.
Just walk everybody through what that procedure is.
Deep flap means that you take your tissue from your stomach. It's kind of like a tummy tuck.
Yeah.
But a lot more invasive. It's microsurgery. So she takes the tissue from your stomach and moves it up to your breast.
Right.
And so you spend 6 weeks walking like a grandmother because you can't raise up. And so it's a 2 surgery process.
Okay.
So you do the first part and then you go back and she kind of builds your chest up to what it should look like.
Right.
And so I had 7 surgeries total. By the end of it, I've had 39 hours of anesthesia.
Oh my gosh. For somebody who didn't have breast cancer, this was like a preemptive strike and you went through all of this.
Yeah.
It's Dr. Aldona
Spiegel.
Okay. I want to give her full credit.
Yes.
Because I know how much you treasure her.
I do.
I know.
I do.
Yeah. Well, we've got happy and fun things to talk about too, but these are important discussions to have, and I'm really glad that we are having them because, hey, this is real stuff. This is what we go through.
Well, I want my story to help others.
Yes.
That's why we do this.
That's why we
talked
do
about
this. You know, that's why we're authentic. That's why we share the hurt and the pain and the disappointment and the struggle, because if one woman listening can connect to your struggle and say, oh my gosh, you know, I'm not the only one out there who went through that, and vice versa with some of my stuff, then we've made a difference.
Yeah,
and that's what inspires
if we save
you and
one,
me.
we've conquered our mission for today.
We sure have. Mm-hmm. So we'll take a quick break with Over 50 and Flourishing. We'll be right back. Support for today's episode comes from OneSkin, a groundbreaking skincare product to reverse the signs of aging. OneSkin's team of scientists discovered the OS1 peptide, which has been shown to reduce the biological age of skin by several years. Their flagship product, OS1 Face, is clinically validated to improve firmness, fine lines, and your skin's overall tone and appearance. I noticed that after using OS1 Face for just a few months. I also liked how quickly it absorbed and how soft it made my skin feel. It's also fragrance-free and it won't irritate sensitive skin. For a limited time, our listeners can get 15% off OneSkin with our code OVER50 at oneskin.co. OneSkin is for everybody who wants to prevent or reverse the signs of aging with a groundbreaking approach. OneSkin addresses skin health at the molecular level, targeting the root causes of aging, so skin behaves, feels, and appears younger. It's time for you to experience a new skin health routine at a discounted rate today. Get 15% off with the code OVER50 at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code OVER50. We have only one body, one skin, and only you can choose to make it better. Age healthy with OneSkin. Before the break, you shared some really personal things with the audience, and that was brave of you, and it was also incredibly sweet of you to offer your help to any woman who's going through something similar. And I know you do.
It's scary.
Yeah.
I was just with somebody, and of course, I'm like, don't do that or do this.
Right.
Because if you've been through what I've been through, you want to save people from the pain.
I think when you have perspective and experience in a certain area, good, bad, or indifferent, you want to let it out. It's that power of sharing to make somebody else's life better. It's like, why suffer the way I did? If I can help you, if I can offer words of encouragement or wisdom, then maybe you don't have to go through all the things that I did. Learn from me. Or if I made good choices, let me share those with you.
Yeah.
Let me share the paths.
Or don't do this.
Right. Or don't do this or try this. But it's in the power of sharing. And I have to say, that's the one thing that I've really enjoyed and appreciated about this stage of life. For me, yours was different. You had the opportunity to really enjoy and appreciate friendships. And I saw that at your most recent birthday party. It was like this ginormous rectangular table full of Holly lovers. The whole table, I mean, seriously, you are like showered with love and it was from people from your old community in Friendswood. And for those of you who don't know, Friendswood is a community just southeast of Houston, about 30 minutes away-ish.
Yeah.
So it's still kind of part of Houston proper, but
halfway between here and Galveston.
In Galveston.
Yeah.
So you've had the beauty and the power of the female connection. Yeah. And for me, it's been very limited because of my crazy work schedule and my previous family life, which was incredibly full, big, busy, full house. And then, side projects. And every once in a while I would see a friend, but it was so sporadic and infrequent that I didn't know what I was missing until I'm now in this life, in this situation. And it makes me realize, wow, I was missing a lot. I was missing a lot of beautiful connection.
I think so many women live in that space.
Yeah.
I had lots of connection because even when I lived in Amarillo with the girls when they were 3 and 2, and we moved back here, that's when I started doing women's ministry there. And then I came back and I did women's ministry here for about 7 years. And so that really molded me in so many ways because you're exposed to so many different women.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you're exposed to more women when your kids are in school because whether they're in dance or sports, you have all those dynamics of all of those personalities. But yeah, I have been able to live that kind of life because I'm not in the spotlight like you. I have so much appreciation for you really have to live like kind of in a shell because first of all, what woman do you know you can trust? And what woman is going to be secure to be with you? Because it's, it's definitely an interesting dynamic when you're sitting at a table and, there's 5 people waiting and to talk to you. And it's just a very interesting dynamic. So it was probably, I can't imagine how hard it would have been for you to have true friends.
Yeah.
Because, they're probably like, hey, I want to be with her because, hey,
Right.
she's Dominique.
Well, and you wonder why they want to be your friend.
Yeah.
Is there,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. And it's interesting because I find that most of my friends are old friends from college, old friends, from high school that knew me before all of this happened, because then you know that the love and the appreciation is there for the right reason. You don't have to question it or second guess it or even worry, are they going to say or do something that's going to be hurtful or come from a mean-spirited place?
Well, we definitely learn who our friends are through this journey, don't we?
Oh, quick.
Either they're the ones that come from the woodworks and you're thinking,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, where did you come from? Or they're the ones that fall into the woodwork and you don't hear from them.
Yeah.
And those are kind of really painful. That you're like, okay, well, you claim to be my friend and I'm going through hell and you never hear from them. But then again, that's part of life. You weed out the vines that aren't giving to you fruitful in order to receive new vines in your life. And some of the new vines in my life have been so powerful. And you know what my mom used to say? If we have 5 good friends when we die, we have succeeded in life. And I tell that to my girls all the time because they get frustrated about friendships. And I will often say, hey, I'm 54 and I'm still struggling with it. So it never ends. It's just you're constantly growing and weeding.
Yes.
And pruning. Because you're learning too.
Right. Well, you're also getting better at creating boundaries. And that's one thing that we have learned at this phase of life is that I'm not willing to accept certain behaviors in the name of having a friendship or a relationship. You ask, at what cost? At what cost do I have this friend? Am I losing a part of me? Am I sacrificing something that is important to me in order to keep this person in my life? I don't think that's healthy. I think boundaries are very important. And I think they get clearer and we get more confident in articulating those.
Don't you think we get like at this, if you go through what we went through,
unapologetically,
you're just kind of like, yeah, no, that's not for me.
No.
And you feel such peace about it versus
guilt.
Before you're like, oh my gosh, what if I lose that friend and I need to do this, and I need to do that. And when you go through a life crisis, you say, I'm sorry, but it's all about protecting myself.
Right.
And it does change you, and it changes the way you look at people, and it changes the friends you want to have in your life.
Yeah. I think the goal is to find people where you can have these kinds of conversations freely and in full trust and confidence, knowing that they are sacred and they don't go anywhere, and whatever is shared is held like a precious little teacup, because somebody's feelings are like that, and they need to be held and contained as such. That was the first thing that I noticed on the retreat, by the way, that we went to. And I want to say this because not everybody can do a retreat, go to a place where we went.
True.
But what you can do is you can create a safe place or a women's circle in your home. You can bring in like-minded women who are on a similar journey and say, hey, this is going to be a safe space. This is going to be a place where we literally chisel away at the shell, we break it down, and there are no secrets here. Everything comes out. That was the first thing that I noticed on our retreat the first night.
Yeah.
Did you notice how the armor just fell?
Quickly.
And what was shared, and that led the way to the most fruitful and productive discussions. I mean, I got to know women in a weekend and things about them that I don't know about some people that I've known for 30, 40 years.
Do you think it's because we were all there in midlife? You know, in your 30s and 40s, you might not be that vulnerable.
Yes.
But, you know, many people there have gone through challenges or this or that. And oh, let me also tell you why I think that it was like that. Dr. Susan sent out the information before, and there were guidelines and rules.
Yes.
And we all read them. Did we sign off on them? I don't know if we signed off on them. But if nothing else, the accountability was set before we even stepped foot on the retreat grounds. And I think that's so important for people to understand what the intentions were in the weekend.
No judgment was number one.
Yeah.
Safe, sacred.
Yeah.
You know, we expect transparency, but we expect everybody's feelings to be protected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and the word was empowering. And,
Yes.
and that's what, she had a different word for every day. I'm sorry that I can't remember all of them.
Intentional, motivate. I forgot, but every day had a name, and that was your mission and intent to focus on.
And this was her baby and Susan's baby, and she, I think her passion was just so vibrant that you couldn't help but just latch onto it and want to become a part of the growth. There was women in there sharing so many big things, tears falling off.
Absolutely.
We were in session. We were in school most of the time.
Yeah.
And the fact that we were in school most of the time and everybody's attention was kept says a lot about the group of people, you being one, that came and spoke.
Yeah.
It was building. It was not just one topic. You had a topic from, you know,
My biggest life lessons to,
Yes.
you know, you're bold, beautiful, and blessed, which that breakout session turned out to be very interesting because it was initially the identification and articulation of areas where you are, because I think oftentimes women have a hard time saying where they are, where they've made bold moves, how they are beautiful, and where they've been blessed, and then how to advance that. But in the end, I decided to make that homework for them because we were all journaling at night. So I said, you know what, let's meditate on this and let's journal about it later. And then you can write when you get home, what's the bold move that you're going to make. But instead, we completely shifted that session to just a full-on let it out. Because you're right, everybody was getting to a point where there was so much coming out and there was so much sort of hanging in the air and unfinished business that it was like therapy. And I think a lot of women wanted to get things off their chests and to really have a plan and a direction. And so people kept commenting just, well, you know, what about this? Or how do I handle this? And it wasn't just me chiming in, it was everybody. It was like group therapy. And there were some big, profound things stated, big decisions made, like huge life changes that we've been through in a myriad of ways were being decided on that weekend.
And then also I felt so blessed to be a part of women that were kind of in life transitions.
Yeah.
And for me to sometimes say, wait, let's slow the roll.
Yes.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about what you're thinking and what this means and whatever the topic was. And so I feel like just the vulnerability and the power that came from that retreat. I mean, I don't want to jump to the end, but I can tell you that I came home and I had to take 2 days to just actually, I found myself on the couch, very tired.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, what? And I actually talked to Peter. He said, very typical.
Yeah.
It's like you just had so much emotion that you just have to let it out and as it comes out. And I know many of us felt that way too.
Yeah. I was so jealous of you all because we still have this group thread going on and everybody's like, yeah, I'm on a hammock. Yeah, I'm on my bed. I'm on my couch. And I'm like, shoot, I just shot a podcast, a YouTube video. I'm doing this. I'm helping my son. I'm like, I went from 0 to 120.
You did.
And y'all were like creeping in at 20. You were in a school zone and I was on a freeway.
Yeah. I mean, you came back and you were telling me about your day. I'm like, I feel kind of bad about that. Sorry.
Yeah, that sucks.
Can I bring you some food? Do you want some wine? How can I help you? Because I'm going back to my couch. No, I mean, if I had to think of so many words for that retreat, it was, I will actually say for me, because the timing of it was so, I didn't think I was going to go, and then I just chose to go.
I'm so glad you did.
Me too. Because it was life changing. It was eye-opening, empowering. It made you think, and we're going to spend months talking about the changes. And if we really go home and do the homework we're given and read all the books we're given,
Right.
it will take me, 6 months to do it all.
Yeah.
But the fact that we were given all of that food of knowledge, encouragement, and boldness, and beauty, and every word that came out of that retreat,
Right.
that I'm still processing,
Oh, I know.
and all the people I met,
Oh my gosh.
so diverse.
Yes.
So diverse, but so, I don't know, connecting.
So different, but yet so similar. That's what we discovered. We are far more alike than we are different. That was the cool thing about it. Doesn't matter where you came from. And people came from all over the
And
country, by the way.
Miraval's an amazing resort in itself.
Yeah.
Because you can go there just for wellness, because they offer so many things. And this isn't a plug for Miraval, but to be able to be in that beautiful environment, talk about that view I had.
Girl, you had the best
I know,
view.
I know.
Hill pool.
And then be immersed in all the knowledge that we were given.
Right.
It was just the full package.
Yeah, it was. And what I want to do because this podcast also airs on YouTube and there's a description portion, I can link all of the speakers' names and their books that they've written. So if you want to do a deep dive in some of the things that we were exposed to, because even as a contributor, I also spent time enjoying all of the other speakers' sessions. I wanted to take in as much as I could.
You didn't get to go to very many of them.
I didn't.
But they were just incredible. And for example, Meg, she doesn't have a book, but she has such a passion for helping people.
Yeah, and she uses the
she's so
Enneagram.
much younger than me.
Yeah.
And she does it through Enneagram. And of course, she pegged me immediately when I got there what
you're a
number my
7.
Enneagram was.
Of course, you're a 7.
And I told her,
I'm an 8.
I just went with it.
I'm like, are you sure I'm an 8?
But there's just so many people there that wanted to, not just the speakers, but the attendees that wanted to help each other and get to know each other.
Yeah.
And continue to connect.
Again, the power of sisterhood, the power of connection.
Wasn't it, I don't know who it said this, but they said that there was a woman who smoked, who drank, and they said, but how did you live to 104 or something?
Yeah.
And she said, my girlfriends.
My girlfriends. Yeah, it's the oldest woman alive. I think she's an elderly French woman, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to Google it, but that's what she said. She drinks, she smokes. She said it's my connection with women that has kept me
And
here.
I think so many women, we stop having connections with women because we know that we should be, supportive of our husbands, supportive of our kids, and we put ourselves last. And then all of a sudden we have absolutely nothing in our tanks because we are not filling ourselves. And that is one thing that I know I could have done better when I was younger. And I would encourage anybody, like you said, you don't have to go to a retreat.
Yep.
You just have to put yourself first, even if it's 10 minutes like today. I actually got my yoga mat out and I went and bought a bolster. I don't think you know about the bolsters, but we had it in one of the sessions and we were given different positions to relax and stretch. And I literally got my bolster out and did oh my gosh, help me, the
menopause brain.
Yes, it's so true.
Were you stressed? Child's pose.
This is perfect.
Child's
Thank
pose.
you. Child's pose. Okay, so I did child's pose and then put on a meditation of somebody that we both love.
Okay.
I fell asleep on
In
my
child's
bolster.
pose?
In child's pose.
What a great hip opening that was for you.
Like, seriously fell asleep.
wow.
And that was
awesome.
just 10 minutes
That's
for myself.
amazing.
Granted, I'd done a little yoga in my living room before.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall. See you passed out.
So what you're really wondering is, was I snoring?
Yes.
Yeah.
Were you snoring?
I don't know. Maybe next time I'll video it for you.
You should.
For entertainment. But so we'll have to give a link to the bolster too, because 10 out of 10 recommend it because it's really good for stretching.
Oh, great.
So anyway, but putting yourself first,
Yes.
even if it's 5 or 10 minutes,
It's a
people
place to
don't
start.
understand how valuable that is. And I mean,
know.
I'm just like this with my hand, but yes.
Yeah, it's
your
huge.
intentions for the day. You have to start out with your intentions being to,
I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to take care of me.
Yes. Therefore, you give to the others you love so much better.
You're preaching to the choir. You talked about tank being low and running out.
Yours is always low, always run out. I remember doing a Bible study where they talked about a a flower pot. And then in life, everyone's just poking holes in your flower pot. And then you put water in your flower pot and you're just,
out it
that's
goes.
you.
Yeah, thanks.
I need to get you a new flower pot
plugs.
somehow.
just patch me up.
I guess I'll drill it to the perfect diameter of a wine cork.
But we can't have that.
2 weeks.
Okay. All right. I have to wrap this up with my absolute favorite story ever, which aired on social media. And I think we can even find a way to pop it into this YouTube video. I'm sure we can.
Do we really, really need to?
We really do. Driving home from the retreat. And this just goes to show what happens when you are magically caught up in the beauty of that connection and the focus, that forward-driven focus, because we were, aside from driving on I-10 East,
Talking
we were
a mile a minute.
yapping a mile a minute, and this and that, and I'm going to do this. And I mean, we were like,
what about this?
Right. So full of vision and excitement and just fuel for life and how we were going to do it. And yet something was running out of fuel, Holley Dean.
Okay, first of all,
What was up with the car?
a lot.
Yes.
It needs to go to the shop, which it's a new car, and
Yeah.
I'd only filled it up with gas once. I know y'all think I'm stupid, but just hear me out. I'll blame it on myself, but I want you to know when you own a car that will drive itself and tell you when you're out of gas. But we all agreed to this after we figured it out, that there was no alert of any kind. I mean, I have a huge
Zero.
screen in my car, and it never said, "Hey, dummy, you're almost out of gas."
Warning.
warning. Do you
Half the
need me
tank.
to find a gas station?
Yes,
None.
nothing.
And then, hey, once the car's let you down, no other thing is working in your car. SOS doesn't work. Connected services doesn't work. And we think it's under an underpass, and it could have been that. But
That's what I
frankly,
thought.
it was total equipment failure.
Everything.
Granted, I failed because I should have known at 54 years old to make sure to get gas. But I was in my own, empowering world.
You were in your own
coming
zone.
out of the retreat. And I had you and Aldana.
Yeah.
Aldona in my, and I always say her name wrong because until the retreat called her Dr. Spiegel, but
Yeah.
now I'm on first name basis.
Oh, yeah, because y'all are tight.
Even though I knew her, but anyway, Aldona was in my car too, and it was just I was on cloud nine, frankly, with two people I love in my car, and then we ran out of gas.
Yeah.
And then
It got so silly. Well, I felt badly because you started to panic.
definitely had a panic
You had a
attack at
panic
the
attack,
beginning.
and you were like, this is the first time it's happened to me, and I'm so embarrassed. And I'm like, no, ma'am, no, you're not going to beat yourself up on this one. And it just turned into the biggest giggle fest ever. I mean, we literally lost it.
Yeah.
Because it was funny.
it was funny and
was
scary all at the same time because
once.
we were not exactly in the most safe spot.
No.
We were kind of okay, but not really.
Not really, because
we pretended.
We thought we were on the side of the road, but we weren't. We were in the far
That's
right
what we
lane.
kept telling ourselves.
Yeah, we were like, oh yeah, we're on the side. No, we're not. But everybody's merging onto 290 at that point, and it was raining, and it was 7-something, and it was getting dark. And I thought, oh well, yay us! We're under an overpass. At least we'll be dry when they show up. And then I thought, well, great. That's probably why she can't get the SOS signal up. Whatever. It was just this
And
cascading
everyone's
series.
like, why don't you have AAA? Why would I need AAA?
When you have a car that does all of that.
So I wanted to clear that up. And no, we weren't drinking.
At all.
At all.
Thank you.
And then I'm very thankful that Aldona was there because she actually decided to call 911.
She did. She had the presence of mind to call.
God.
And then people said, why are you calling 911? Because they can dispatch you to the proper...
Yes. And we couldn't get out of our car. I mean,
Yes.
we really were stuck.
Till we got unstuck.
Until we got unstuck. And then we giggled for quite a while when we had commentary from Aldona's husband, which was hilarious, checking in on us. And then, of course, everyone's like, who runs out of gas? I do.
Yeah.
Just so we can have a really good lead up to this podcast.
Exactly.
Because you said, I'm going to start filming this. I'm like, oh, no, you're not. And you're like,
Oh, yes,
watch
I
me.
am. Excuse me. The journalist in me does not pass up an opportunity
I'm
like
so
this.
glad that you did because we'll have that forever to remind us how we felt that day,
I know.
which was on cloud nine.
I felt like a giddy teenager, didn't you?
I felt like I was back in English class again, and I couldn't stop
Laughing.
I mean, it was just so great. It was funny, and we just kept laughing. To of course, making fun of me, but I'm so glad that I could give of myself in that way.
I'm so glad you did. You fell on your sword. beautifully.
Because what did our friends say about who was driving? Do you remember that comment?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're now coined Thelma and Louise.
And then, of course, we spent the retreat going, wait, who's
Thelma?
And then I'm like, wait,
Who's
am I
redhead?
the crazy one?
You're the one who drives us off the cliff.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Well, it makes sense because I was driving.
I know.
And of course, Meg goes, wait, was Thelma driving?
Yes.
And she said, such a Seven thing to do.
I know. That's your...
So yes, that's, but man, great stories.
Great
and
stuff.
Great. I hope people got to see us just be ourselves.
Yeah.
And we're not perfect.
No. Oh God. And you
and
know what? Nobody wants to be that. Nobody wants that.
But they got to see connection of women saving each other in a crisis and coming out and having a great story to tell after an amazing weekend.
Yeah, it was. It was beautiful. I cherish you so much. I think you know that.
I definitely know that. And
Okay.
and we've spoken off camera about how much you've changed my life and you've taught me to feel comfortable in my own skin. You have taught me to put on makeup, although I don't do it right, and you fix it for me when I get
It's
here.
okay.
But no, just teaching each other so many different things.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, we've been there for each other in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and being safe, and we're so similar but so different in a lot of ways.
I know.
But I'm thankful for our faith, which is the most important thing that we get to share, because you don't get to talk that way with many people.
I know.
And when we have that safe space to begin with, then relationships can grow.
Yeah, we've attended some really beautiful church services together, and we love to just explore that and then have discussions about it after. And okay, how am I going to apply this to my life now? And that's a big part of you. It's a big part of me.
Yeah.
It's a big part of what I want to bring here. You know, people will say to me, and this is sad, they'll say, I'm glad you're not afraid to share your faith. And I think, what should I be afraid of? Why?
I think many people just, especially you having the platform you are, you don't want to be judged. And
well, guess what? You're going to be judged no matter what you do or who you are.
oh, especially now.
Absolutely. And if I'm going to be judged for being a woman of faith, then so be it. Judge me up, right, left, and down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't judge you.
I know you
just
do.
on Tuesdays.
Cheers. Cheers. I love you, sister.
To Mondays.
Yes.
And podcasts, because podcast really, really, really helped me through this year. I didn't mention that. So I'm really thankful that you started this, because I know that you can just use this platform to really help women in their life journeys.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing it, because I definitely read your book and it was empowering.
Thank you.
At the very beginning.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you more.
I really do hope you enjoyed the chat with my best friend. You know, as we were kind of wrapping up, the one thing that we both agree on in life is that life doesn't end with a negative. So please remember that and meditate on that, because we get to steer and we get to decide how life goes. And we were talking about the power of choice, and we've all made big choices in life. And so you may be in that phase and stage, and just know you're not alone. If you enjoy what you're listening and what you're seeing, I encourage you to rate, review, subscribe, and share wherever you listen to podcasts. And of course, on YouTube, this airs every Monday, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please comment in the comment section below. Give us your feedback. Let us know what you would like to see in future podcasts. We pay very close attention to what it is that you're looking for, because it matters. I'm here for you. Thank you for being a part of this week's Over 50 and Flourishing.